According to a Rolling Stone exclusive article, Kanye West used porn, bullying, mind games to control staff. I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. Let's get down to the heart of this story. Are these alleged allegations true, or are his nemesis out to destroy him, his entire empire, and everything that he worked for? So let's talk about this article tonight. Quote, former Yeezy team members claim West showed them explicit images of Kim Kardashian and used fear and manipulation to assert dominance. A scathing open letter to Adidas claims executives turned their moral compass off. A hush fell over the factory sample room in Qingyang, China, as Kanye West examined the prototypes of his latest Yeezy sneakers on display before him. Decision makers from Adidas and members of his entourage waited intently for his feedback when, according to two people who attended the August 2017 meeting, West began to yell that the Yeezys were not yet up to his standards. Then approached a senior female employee. The attendees say West looked down at his foot, stared up at the woman, and told her, I want you to make me a shoe I can F. Adidas representatives, including a vice president involved in the apparent giant's billion-dollar licensing partnership with West's influential brand, did not confront West about his alleged remark. The two attendees claimed the woman took a leave of absence before leaving to a job elsewhere at Adidas. In an email, she declined to comment and requested that her name be withheld from this article. Former Yeezy and Adidas employees, however, point to the alleged incident as one of many experiences over the course of a decade in which they say West used intimidation tactics with the staff of his fashion empire that were provocative, frequently sexualized, and often directed toward women. In the month since Adidas severed ties with West, amid a hail of hate speech, more than two former Yeezy and Adidas staffers have described to Rolling Stone an abusive office culture that left many of them fearing for their livelihoods. Behind the scenes, this celebrity boss did more than test the boundaries of professionalism. Former Yeezy and Adidas staffers and creative collaborators claim that he played pornography to Yeezy staff in meetings, discussed porn, and showed an intimate photograph of Kim Kardashian in job interviews, and showed an explicit video and photos of Kardashian as well as his own sex tapes to Yeezy team members. Now, a revelation open letter by prominent former members of the Yeezy team insists that leaders from Adidas were aware of West's problematic behavior, but turned their moral compass off, raising questions about whether his corporate partner could have stepped in years ago. There was no accountability, says a person at the Qingyang meeting. Different moments happened with executives in the room, VP leader or higher, VP level or higher, and nothing could be done. You'd still show up to work the next day. On Tuesday night, several former high-ranking employees for Yeezy sent the scathing letter to the executive board members and newly installed CEO of Adidas, urging them to address the toxic and chaotic environment that Kanye West created, and a very sick pattern of predacious behavior toward women who work under West as part of the Yeezy-Adidas partnership. The letter, a copy of which was obtained exclusively by Rolling Stone, continues. He has in years past imploded at women in the room with offensive remarks and would resort to sexually disturbing references when providing design feedback. This type of response from a brand partner is one that Adidas employees should never be subject to, nor should Adidas leadership ever tolerate. In response to the multiple detailed lists of questions from Rolling Stone, a spokesperson for Adidas provided a brief statement saying, in part, that the company will not discuss private conversations, details, or events that lead to our decision to terminate the Adidas-Yeezy partnership and decline to comment on any related speculation. Let me get back to this. West, who recently stopped working with his publicist and was dropped as a client by his whole profile attorneys, could not be reached for comment through direct messages or intermediaries. In public, West has referred to a full on pornography addiction that destroyed my family and to let me read that again. In public, West has referred to a quote full on pornography addiction close quote that destroyed my family and to sex as a design inspiration. Privately, multiple former Yeezy and Adidas staffers regret accepting what they agreed was an unwritten rule from Adidas management. Kanye is just Kanye, and underestimating what they once viewed as relatively harmless comments. But the writers of the letter, titled The Truth About Yeezy, a call to action for Adidas leadership, accused the company of lacking responsibility and accountability and protection that Adidas failed to provide their employees. Throughout what we experienced as years of verbal abuse, vulgar tirades, and bullying tactics. West's transparent lies Yeezy from Nike to Adidas in the late 2013. A few months later, he invited a rising creative whom he'd only met once over the phone to his Tulum, Mexico-inspired home in the Hollywood Hills. The creator was excited about a potential collaboration and recalls West within minutes of stepping into the living room, beckoning them to check out his laptop. Instead of anything resembling work, however, the collaborator claims Yes had hardcore Yeezy, or West, had hardcore pornography on the screen. He showed me the video of Francesca Lee, a born puff star, with the strap-on dildo effing another girl in the blank, or the anus. The former collaborator tells Rolling Stone he'd like, what do you think of it? Not laughing at all. Two other creatives, including one associated with Yeezy's early years, claim West had also shown them pornographic videos, including homemade sex tapes of West engaging in sexual activities with women. The former collaborator who visited West's home says they initially found the encounter amusing and recalls West appreciating their response that porn stars are entertainers too. At the time, I found it odd, but in line with his persona as an edgy artist, the former collaborator says, now seeing it within a larger pattern, I feel it was a tactic to break a person down and establish their unwavering allegiance to him, testing and destroying people's boundaries. In a statement to Rolling Stone, after publication of the article, Lee says, it's extremely concerning, disheartening, and disappointing that someone would use my work in a way that is demeaning to other human beings. This October, amid the public meltdown and the denouncement of his deal with Adidas, West released a 30-minute documentary on YouTube. It included a scene of him showing a pornographic video to two Adidas executives. On a phone in front of two members of his inner circle, moments later in the documentary, West alludes to having a history of antics like playing the porn and screaming as elements of his Adidas relationships. We've all done this, he says. Shervin Piskvar, a venture capitalist who worked with West, claims it to tell the executives, what you're feeling right now is extreme discomfort, and that is exactly the point. The open letter sent to the Adidas board, which aims to speak from a collective of employees who may be fearful of speaking up, claims that the scene is by no means a new intimidation approach, and that Kanye's problematic behavior started within the first year of his partnership with the Adidas brand. Pete Fox, who served as the president of Yeezy in 2016, remembers West bonding one-on-one with the misfits and partners of Yeezy's startup days, even amid the release of The Life of Pablo. If he likes you and wants you on the team, he's super charming. Fox explains, adding, if he didn't like you or if something happened, he'd fly off the handle and it'd be over. Ask about the allegations that West showed porn to Yeezy staff. Fox tells Rolling Stone, I never looked at porn with him or anything like that. But we would look at things together that maybe would be surprising to people, he continues. In high fashion, there's a lot of sexy, controversial things that maybe they reference or look at as opposed to a company like Adidas, where you would never show any nudity in a mood board. Continue in part 2.